Wait. Cool.
Yeah, your mic slide down. The local recording. It's updated. Okay, we should be. Okay, yeah, we should be good to go.
Let me check something quickly. Let me just check something quickly.
Okay.
Hang on. See. Yeah, we're good.
I'll just listen to this.
All right, I need a file name. I need a file name.
Meme.
Name? How about Cheeky Nando? No, say it. All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
If you want to donate more, donate to twitch.tv/CFP.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
Yeah!
All right. So this is any percent with upgrades. I'll be doing the Galactic Circuit only because that's the only one that needs to initiate the credits on this. So pretty much these are the hardest courses up until you get to the Invitational. AI is kind of finicky occasionally. It's got a rubber band in the last 2 races a lot, but apart from this, shouldn't be too bad. Most of you're going to see me doing is boosting a lot, but usually in intervals that I'm going to actually get a decent amount of boost to actually maximize the speed I get instead of just doing it continuously. This is brought on by my boy Cobalt that recently came into the community and found out that you can actually get some really good lap times by doing that. And he's also actually, this is actually inverted. Okay, it's gonna be fun. He also is starting to do a lot of the aisles that have been staying for about, I don't know, close to 6 or 7 years, so he's doing some good work with that. All right, this is new actually. Whoop. Oh, we got one. Sorry. All right, so for this series of tracks on Ovo 5, they had gravity tubes, which usually go through a series of tubes where you can increase your speed, and also you have to dodge the asteroids. I consider these the second easiest of the 4 tracks that you have to go through it. Yo, what's he got for me? Oh, jeez. All I gotta say to him is try and throw grenades to the left side and try to get the monolith to ease themselves over from that position so you won't get shot as much. Really, that's all I can say. I mean, apart from that, it's just luck. Thank you. But no, that section really sucks, though. He's got a point. I mean, it's just luck when it comes. I think you can run Call of Pripyat, but don't run. Don't run Clear Sky. That's just ass. It's just a walking simulator. It's a pure walking simulator out of the Great Swamps to the Red Forest. That's all it is. I mean, it's got like a few grenade jumps, but it's not like anything special. Yeah. I mean, I could too, but that shit was just over the top. I mean, it was pretty degenerate. I know, right? My favorite map is actually Abyss, which is actually one of the tracks that everyone hates for whatever reason, but I've practiced it so much that I've kind of gotten it down. And especially since there's a consistent strat that you can say if you fall off from that track, you're guaranteed 25-second time loss because it takes you basically on a reach around the track. And most of the time, you're going to lose like maybe six to seven positions based on that because, well, the AI is pretty relentless on that track. But at least for what we found, at least for the PC, you can boost and tilt sideways up on a. Thanks for the clapping. But you can boost into sideways on one of these straights and get on back onto the top, and it's pretty good. I can't say the same. What? Who? Oh, sorry, EB Indicat. I should actually clarify that for a bit. EB is actually the best out of the starting race that you get because of its cooling, and also, I mean, everything else is pretty well balanced. I mean, his air brakes are kind of shit, but I can get around that. I can actually, because he has a decent turning. He has decent turning, and also his traction is what's it, traction? No. It's his sliding is actually pretty decent, so I can get around. I can get around that his brakes are weak and get around corners in a way like that. Apart from that, his boosting duration is kind of shitty, but his cooling's really good, so I can boost more consistently than, say, Dud Bolt, who has a really good boost duration, but his cooling's terrible, so you can only do it so many times on the track. And he also has a lot of other things that probably gonna crash. Yeah, crash. Ours too. So what you want to do there, especially since we have time to, almost crashed there too. Since you have a lot of time to use the boost, because we're actually not like consistently boosted, you can actually use that wall on the side and go diagonally and clip up and come back down to the tubes. The problem is that you don't want to go too far to the left, or you're gonna be locked in a specific position where you can't navigate correctly in the tube. So you can only move left to right, but you can't do any of the rolling motions. So that kind of is not the best thing to do on the first lap, but the second and third laps, it's fine because you only have to dodge 2 of the 4 pieces, because the good thing about the AI in this is that they will destroy the pieces, and in most cases they're invincible, so it doesn't really matter for them. For me though, I really don't have that kind of, I don't want to chance it because, I mean, most of the time I'm going to crash and just destroy the pod, and occasionally I might come to a point where I might get lucky, but most of the time I'm not going to get lucky. Also, I can't read chat. I'm sorry.
I have a question. Would you rather run this 100 times in a row or Unreal 2 100 times in a row?
I'd rather run this 100 times in a row because Unreal is a terrible speed game right now. And even though we found some way to skip the dialogue, that's good luck. I can't, you can't, it's gonna just crash the game occasionally.
Would you recommend Unreal 2, like at all?
No, I wouldn't. It's a terrible Unreal. Play Unreal 1, honestly, just play Unreal 1, that's all I want.
I agree with that.
Oh yeah, so that's probably the worst part of this run, or any time that you're running this game, is that anytime you're doing any percent with the upgrades, or like semi-pro or amateur or whatever, you have to get, you have to really, it comes down to what you get in the junkyard, and it's completely random. So in the junkyard, each time you get a choice of all the parts that you can receive in the game, so traction, acceleration, top speed, turning, repair, I said traction already, so repair and cooling, and it can be any level of parts. So the parts go from level 1 to level 6. So, let's see if I can get this good. Got that. That's kind of shitty, but it's okay. So you can basically get any of the parts, and usually they're unlocked over a series of races. So usually you're not going to see a level 6 or level 5 part until you actually, in the shop at least, until you beat at least, I think it was 14. Another engine part, cool. 14, and then you can buy it. And it's usually out of your price range, because I'm only doing 7 races. I won't be able to afford a new parts, and most likely I'm only going to be able to get level 4 parts, and it's not going to really be conducive to the speed run. So with the junkyard, I have a chance to get level 6 parts that are damaged, but they will get repaired over one of the races, and that's what I usually want to do. So for this instance, I want to get I got a level 3 part right now that I can get repaired over this race. Crash, yeah, crash. And I can use that to offset the price of a higher level part in that. But the problem is I had to be specific with what level that block 5 that I got. So that was around 3,000 truggets, the end-game currency. So that's a good one to go for. If it was around 4 or 5, then it would cause some problems for me later on. So I might not be able to afford a higher level cooling part. So for instance, I might be able to get a level 4 cooling part and a level 6 top speed part, but I wouldn't be able to afford the a pit droid to repair the parts during the 3rd race. If I got a level if I got a good condition part, so I kind of had to balance that out between these 2 trips, essentially. Yes, kind of, sort of. Really, it's kind of a toss-up because the pod racing was good and Darth Maul was good in 1. That was pretty much about it.
1 is pretty awful. So.
I mean, there's also a few other things, but that's what really stood out to me, at least.
Yeah, Tolarus, you said it's something conducive to speedrunning earlier. What does conducive mean?
It's helpful. It's it works well with, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is a level 5 coolant pump. It's a dual rod. It's actually let's see. It's 1,800. That's a good price for that, so I'm gonna buy that. So now I need to look for. This is really good luck actually. Block 5, so level 5 pop speed. So nice, cool. That's really fast. Yo. No, I'm not. I wouldn't say it's better F-Zero, but it does have some. It's got some. I mean, it's not as deep as F-Zero. So not like Nick Life's like just death stare probably right now. But it does have some. It's got some. I don't know how to say it. It's pretty deep in some parts. Nice crash again because I'm thinking about this, but it's okay. Exactly. Never give up. There's a lot to find out. I mean, because there's always going to be. We're trying to look for ways to improve it. So I mean, what we thought was impossible now, because we thought like maybe a 35 was, you know, a decent time, but now we're trying to go for a 34. Just how it is, because of we're just trying to find ways to do it. And then we thought that these ILs were pretty much, you know, they're going to stay forever, just because of how well these guys did it. But I mean, all it takes is one person to come in and like have some kind of insight that we may have not been finding. So, I mean, it works in that way too. You know, like he was the die-man of it. I'd say for now it's Cobalt because he's just been tearing it up, honestly. He's been just doing some great work with it. I mean, he's basically gotten a lot of the old boys actually might come back because Mike, who has the majority of the records, and Draco, who was pretty good too, are thinking about, well, I wouldn't say Draco, I think he's pretty much done with it, but Mike might come back to it, but he was kind of limited by if he could come and see if he could, you know, basically run this game, because, I mean, as you saw, it's a pain in the ass to get running on newer systems. I guess I should go over that too. I actually was considering running the N64 version because I couldn't get it to run as well on the PC when I recently got it. And the way that it was laid out for me to get it to work, I mean, I couldn't get it to work. So I was like, whatever, let's try the N64 version. But thanks to the PC Gaming Wiki, they had 2 options I could use. I mean, one was a little more detailed, but the other one was a lot easier, at least. Because some guy made an installer that includes all the tools you need. Because, I mean, the main thing that you need for this is DG Voodoo that allows you to emulate, I think, DirectX 8 and actually get the graphics to work. Because, I mean, if you don't have that, it's going to be like just like a white screen with some polygons on it. That's pretty bad, but whatever. But, yeah. That's pretty much the thing about it. That's the biggest detriment to this game right now is that there hasn't been a remaster out. I mean, we kind of have to like go by what other people can do to actually get it to work. But at least for now, it's been good. I'd be able to do that, yeah. Sure. Kilometers. The sorry, the hard cap for speed. Kilometers per hour? Oh my. Why don't you figure it out for me, Colin? The speed cap for all racers is, I think it's 650 kilometers an hour, and the only variations is depending on what their boost duration is. It might. I don't believe it does, but it's a possibility. And while I'm thinking about it, the Barunda courses are, I think, some of the harder courses. I think this is easier than Fire Mountain Rally, but it's still pretty challenging. Because of the, well, you got the jungle section and you got the canyon section. That part that opened up on the second lap, which I kind of failed to highlight right there, an earthquake happens and that part opens and you get a shortcut that allows you to skip those first couple of corners there. So it can save some time. Of course, this is not the best one because I think this is the harder of the two options for this shortcut, because it's much easier in Fire Mountain Rally because you can just go straight and make the turn instead of like having to slow down around that corner and then try to navigate, because a lot of times you can overshoot it easily. I mean, I've done it. I do it a lot of times because the turning is not that good, and since you swing out a lot when you're doing the slide or the drift, you can easily mess it up and potentially crash or go past it. And in most cases, I'll just continue on the intended route and go around it, because sometimes that's, I mean, it might be a little slower, but it's just more consistent, so you won't have that crash. Another thing is, occasionally you might see that there's a green arrow pointing the direction of the track or the direction that the game thinks you're supposed to be going. So that occasionally happens with some of the shortcuts too, because even though it's an intended shortcut, the game's still thinking, well, I think I should put you back on what you're supposed to be doing, or at least what I think you're supposed to be doing. So it'll bring you back maybe like 5 seconds like before. So you're thinking like, well, okay, it's just gonna put me back where it should be. So like where I crashed in the shortcut, but it's gonna put you back towards the beginning of the shortcut, or even like another section of the track, just how it goes. So sometimes the respawn can get kind of annoying. All right, so that's level 3 done.
Tolarus.
Yo.
Sometimes wants you to know it's measured in decimeters per hour.
Oh, really?
I love this.
That's a great meme. That's a great meme. Nothing. Oh, I missed that too. For the boost start, it's a pretty generous window, just as the one's fading. I found that if I'm mashing it through on the controller, it like shrinks down like exceptionally. It's like ridiculously small then. It goes to like maybe 5 to 10 frames instead of like the 25 to 30 if I skip the cutscene on the keyboard for whatever reason. I don't know why. And also this track incorporates about 50% of the, I'd say about maybe like 60, okay, I'll say about 60% of the Howler Gorge found in the semi-pro circuit. The only difference is this section where you go underground instead of going over top, and you have the frozen lake followed by the canyons after that. I think that's the most difficult part of this race, the canyons at the end, because you can have a good rhythm going in, or you can have a terrible rhythm going in and just end up pinballing and crashing into one of the walls. Just how it goes. I don't know. I gotta route Kiss Psycho Circus though. I know. Oh no, the PC version. I honestly did not know there was like Dreamcast version 2. You told me about that. Damn. I can. I'm pretty sure it is. All right, so that shortcut opens up on the second lap. Same with all 3 of the tracks on the specific venue. There actually are 4 tracks on this planet, but the 4th one in Invitational is its own. It's in the city center compared to the outskirts. But that's that shortcut's consistent on all of them. It opens up in the second lap. There's a slight variation with this for Howler Gorge and Adobe Mountain Run, which I've been doing. compared to Vito's Wild Ride, where instead of going right as this one and the other one does, for Vito it shoots you out to the left. It's a really, really sharp turn too. Most of the time you can crash, and it's really not used, especially because of just how it is. I'm on the beat right now. God damn. Based. I don't know. I don't. Whatever. It's V. Right. Yo. What is your question? When we find a second PlayStation 2 controller. When I can actually find it. I think it only came out for the Xbox, right? I'm not sure. I have two, not one. Once we get that controller, we can do it. And find the AV cable for that PlayStation. My man. Jai is pretty based. Nice. Jeez. At least twice. Who is we? I don't know. I guess us in this room. EB is flying the pod racer.
Which one do you think is more pure, this or Harvester?
I'd say Harvester. Harvester's pretty pure. Yeah. Yes, it is. Just a bit. No, you get Truggets, which is the Indian currency. You can increase the rate. There's actually 3 levels of thing. I don't know why. I guess it was, I don't know. They never really explained that well in the guide or anyway. But you can change the amount of Truggets you can win. You can do winner takes all, which I'm doing. There's fair and there's skilled. I mean, there's no other reason why you should use fair or balance or skilled, because in most cases, I mean, you can still get enough credits to get the stuff, but there's really no point. I mean, you can't increase them to 5 times, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Yeah. A shame. You know what they say. Alright, so Death Throes is probably the easiest, or the second easiest, I think. I think Executioner is easier than this in some ways, but it's just it's a nice respite between the rest of the courses. So you have FMR, you have Bunta Classic, which are the lastest, are the worst, I think, in this thing. So they're nice. It's a nice little break. That was slow as hell. And to that section, I hold slide, so I don't have to worry about exploding, because there's something, I'm not sure what it's on there. It might be an outcrop from one of the, I think it's one of the cranes above it, but it can explode you. It's annoying. Yo. I don't know.
Okay, it was either me or Slay. That's what everybody thinks. Who is it?
I think it might have been you, Headcrab. I'm sorry. I think it might have been Headcrab.
Yes, has been owned again.
Yeah. When you say not me, this makes you even more guilty. I'm sorry. Obviously UCFB.
Or do you consider Unreal 2 a classic FPS?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean it is, but it's. How can you consider a tech demo a classic FPS?
Yeah, I agree with
It's pretty based. I'd say about I mean 8.5 out of 10. All right, so FMR is it's a pretty tough course, but there's a lot of opportunities to do boosting though, which is nice. But you got to be kind of careful because the corners on this are really they're pretty relentless because it's easy just to crash and just mess yourself up pretty easily. So I can get this good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Good turn. These turns are pretty annoying. This one's the worst, I think, because it's just such a sharp turn to the right and you have to cut back to the left. If I what? Again? All right, so the lava is actually the only portion that's going to affect your pod racer in any way, and probably environmental hazard, apart from the Tuscan Raider throwing bombs at you in the next race. But it'll cause the engine to overheat and usually cause about 2 fires. And it's annoying because you, in most cases, you're down there. It's hard to get back up and actually get out of the pit alive because you're repairing and the handling is really bad when you're repairing for a long time. So yeah, this is basically the same thing. Oh, do you like rest there? Okay, never mind. This is the same portion of the track in reverse as the Bunta Classic Grab by Gateway. So from here, it's going to be the same, except in reverse. This is Barunda. I think this is definitely the hardest planet of the bunch that you have to go through because you have this, you have Gravity Gateway, you have Inferno, which isn't that. I mean, it's a short track, but it's kind of difficult. And Baru course, even though it's in the semi-pro circuit and it's easy, it's just easy. I don't know. I just find it it's a hard track because you're really just trying to concentrate and not crash because you're really not supposed to crash, but it can happen anyway. There is not. Because Hoth wasn't really relevant to the series at the time. I mean, you have Ando Prime. It's a snow planet. Okay. New one's pretty bad. Shadow stuff liking. I don't play it, so I really don't really have a solid opinion on that. That's no, it's not. Ooh, that's a good. I actually might do that. It's a pretty short one. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, no. This is okay. That's it. No, probably not. Sorry. And into the lava. Pretty cool, actually. I wouldn't say they were $20 Canadian, but I think maybe 15. If they're like for what was paid for, I think we should have got a keychain, honestly. No. I mean, it's like it's a slug pretty much. I mean, you can't really compare that to Jar Jar Binks, which is just, I don't know, it's just something that happened.
Same race? I actually don't know. I've never watched Star Wars.
No, they're not.
Do you think Colin's the Jar Jar Banks of
I don't know, it's between you and Colin, but at the same time, I could say that both of you kind of fill that role pretty well.
better call?
I don't know about that. We'll see. Alright, so last track, Bunta Classic. Gonna go up here and take the shortcut to this loop and skip going around, because that's kind of annoying. Because there's two ways to go around this. Usually there's a top route and a bottom route that goes through, and you can boost usually and come up in a little after that turn I just did. So going through that is a lot faster. Don't worry about this. This also goes into 3 sections. I usually take the right now, instead of going to the left, which I usually did because it's a little faster, but the turn's a little weird. So I usually brake and then turn and just do a slide around the left side, but you can do it either way. You can do 2 slides or slide around and brake. It's all up to you. But you hate King of Fighters. Okay, I'll think about it. Dude, if it's King of Fighters 98, then I'm okay with that. 15 is okay. It's not the best, but it's decent. It's better than Street Fighter 5. My team in 98, it was Blue Mary, Edgy, and EG, whatever you want to call it. And who did I have? I had Andy actually too. That was a good team. UM, EG, Geese, and Blue Mary. Are we talking about which one? No, there's wasn't there 2 of those? Again, but there's 2 though, because there was. Yeah, but there's that and there's Heritage for the Future, I believe. Yes, true. Leslie, I believe. Is that guy? Yeah. Yeah. The horse is pretty good. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I liked UMK3. I didn't play Deception. Possibly. I don't want to though. I don't know. Fighting games speedrunners are kind of, I don't know.
Wait, what if I were to tell you
Yeah, I actually saw that when you did that. It was an interesting. That's interesting. I mean, it's better than the other ones that are just like, oh, it's going to be arcade and see how fast I can go. Yeah. I'm gonna say Shinakuma. Power Stone 2, I forget if he was in 1 or 2. I used the Cook a lot. He was decent. I forget if he was in 1 or 2 though. The Cook with the machete. I know Cook isn't. No, but yeah, there's a Cook with a machete, and I forget it was either Power Stone 1 or Power Stone 2. Okay, then he was decent. He was pretty decent. It's pretty fun. That's a cool concept that you can just kill somebody in 1 hit. Cancer. I don't. Actually, I tried it, but I didn't get that far in it. No, I just got bored with it for a bit. I'll probably come back to it. It's a cool, no, it's a fun game though. Don't get me wrong. Battlefront 2? The campaign wasn't that bad. I think it was better than the first one. That you could actually get, I don't know, had the Jedis come out and you could like just battle as them if you needed to, depending on the conditions of battle. So that's kind of cool. Not as much. I played Battlefront 1 a lot though, on multiplayer. That's pretty good. Just like Mortal Kombat 9. And Smash. I actually have not played Justice. I mean, I heard it's pretty decent though. It's a 2. Super Turbo. When I'm actually not garbage at a place to got. I know, because I'm bad at it. Well, it's just Street Fighter 2 was like one of the like the 10 or so derivatives, or actually it's more like 20 now, isn't it? Or whatever it was now. He is pretty nice. Kind of. He was added in Super, I believe. Or I don't know. This was rushed out. It wasn't the same crew. It was the cash grab, from what I can tell. And a lot of people fell for that meme, and well, I have really no sympathy for them. I mean, but he's streaming Warcraft, so I really can't say. Time. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's fine. That's pretty bad, but I mean, it's okay. All right, cool.
You never gave up.
But yeah, it's a good run. We got Discord. We got some good runners with us on all of the things. So N64, we got Dreamcast, we got PC. So let's see, PC. We got Marmotato, we got Gisty, Cobalt, myself, C7, N64. We got UF7, current world record holder, pretty bass guy. Andy Panther. That actually he was the progeny of this. Actually, he got the 80% round and pretty much like the campaign for the story mode going on instead of just doing ILS like the old boys did. So shout outs to him. And Home Down the Dreamcast is Nim, and he's doing pretty well. I think he's starting to fill out the thing, so cool for him. And also he doesn't play anymore, but English guy, Englishman I should say, he comes around the, he's cool. So we got some good players. More than willing to help you guys out if anybody's interested in playing it. Yeah, I mean, just shoot us some messages in Discord or just shout me out on Twitch or whatever. I can get you when I'm running just casually, speed running, whatever, I can help you out.
Do you know what is that soft reset? Like instant reset.
Like on the controller, you press a certain
Select
combination.